Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. Not your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Welcome back from Fox News. NRA instructor trains thousands of inner-city women to ensure they're never victims. This is great news. NRA instructor helps train 4,000 minority women from Detroit on gun safety and use. Now, those of you out there, especially those of you that are black or Hispanic, I'm speaking, in this case, it's minority women. Women in big cities, especially at night, are defenseless. Absolutely defenseless. And interesting line the gentleman said. I'll play a short part of the clip here in a little while. If taking away guns from people was the answer and strict gun laws, Detroit would be the safest city in the country. And that's laughable, of course. So those of you out there that happen to see this video, I'm not a very big channel, and you're a minority, and your family has voted. Now I'm saying that not all minorities vote the same and think the same. It's not what I mean. But those of you who've been brainwashed over the years, even you young white progressives and Democrats and leftists, been brainwashed. The guns are the problem. We got to take away the guns, take away the guns, take away the guns. When you see this story in a small clip, and then the link I'm going to put in there so you can see the whole clip, when you see the reaction from the Democrats for this, that will give you your answer. That will tell you who they care about. Interesting. I like this guy a lot. Let's read on, then I'll show you a short clip. Here he is here. An NRA instructor describes himself as the left's worst nightmare. Helped train thousands of minority women from Detroit on how to safely protect themselves with guns to ensure they're never victims. The left thinks the Second Amendment wasn't made for people who look like us. They said the same thing during the Jim Crow era, too, NRA instructor Rick Ector, who is black, said in a video published by the NRA on Thursday morning. Now, think about this for a minute. Think about the progressives and the leftists and the Biden administration and Congress and all the Dems, their policy on immigration. They see that their BS and the lies they peddled to non-white people over the last half century, people are starting to wake up. It took way longer than I think it should have, but at least it's starting now, and I'm very encouraged. But what the Democrats see is their hold on 95% of black voters is slowly coming to an end. They see it slowly done. Trump started it. People are going to jump on the bandwagon. That's why I wish Republicans would get out more, have a better ground game, but hopefully they will next year in the midterms. And the Democrats see they're going to lose their guaranteed votes. And so now they're bringing in illegals. I'm going to say it straight out. I'll say illegal migrants. I guess I'll split the difference. They're bringing them by the millions so they can shore up their voting base again. It's really that simple. It's not brain surgery. Let's read on. Hector held a 2-day annual event at the end of August where he helped train 4,000 minority women from the inner city of Detroit on gun safety and use. He explained the Americans deserve to use their Second Amendment rights to protect themselves as gun crimes continue to increase. If simply taking guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens was the answer, Detroit would be the safest place on earth. I gotta give you a little bit of applause on that one, sir. Very well done. That's exactly right, by the way. Instead, it's seen a 53% increase in shootings in 2020 alone. In fact, last weekend, I trained over 4,000 lovely women to ensure they're never victims. This isn't about politics for me. It's about common sense. Oh, all the Democrats are all gung-ho.
The left thinks the Second Amendment wasn't made for people who look like us. They said the same thing during the Jim Crow era, too. If simply having guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens was the answer, Detroit would be the safest place on earth. Instead, it's seen a 53% increase in shootings in 2020 alone. I was raised my entire life brainwashed that guns were bad and only bad people would need a gun. Until one night when I was robbed at gunpoint in my own driveway. I was staring down the barrel of a gun with my family in the house behind me. Sure, they're never victims. And this isn't about politics for me. It's about common sense.
The first thing that drove me to come out here was just protection for myself.
I feel like empowered.
In Detroit, the crime is increasing, and we just need something to protect ourselves.
We are the party that support women. We look out for women and their rights. The Me Too movement, the patriarchy. But yet, when it comes to trying to protect them, you get this. Crickets. Not only just crickets, they fight against it. Detroit was among the city across the nation last year that saw a sharp increase in shootings. I won't go through every single word of here, but law-abiding Americans are going in droves, arming themselves and getting trained because they know a gun is the best way to protect themselves and their loved ones. That is correct. It's amazing, some of the quotes here from these women. In Detroit, yeah, the crime is increasing, and we just need something to protect ourselves, one woman who actor trained said in the video. It's amazing. No one wants to walk alone at night and feel unprotected, especially in a society and what happens today. Our focus is to push our message across America to law-abiding citizens, and that's the key. Law-abiding gun owners. That firearms education and safety are important no matter who you are or where you are. The NRA's second vice president, retired Lieutenant Colonel Wills Key Lee, added at the two-day event. As for Rector, he said after being brainwashed that gun ownership was bad, he found himself one day robbed at gunpoint in his own driveway. He was able to get the suspects to plead by telling them a whopping lie that he had a house full of guns and trained gun users. They fled. And that day I made a promise to myself I'd never look down the barrel and be defenseless again. Rick is the embodiment of the NRA spirit of volunteerism that prevails among our millions of members. For years, he has led a crucial and substantial effort to help make Detroit a safer place. We are proud to have Rick as an NRA member, instructor, and member of our outreach committee. Now, those of you that are like, oh my God, John, you're so heartless. Look at all those school shootings. Look at all the murders and blah, blah, blah. The NRA's responsible. And it's like Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. If you use that ridiculous logic, that means all auto manufacturers are liable for drunk drivers that kill tens of thousands of people and injure others and cause billions in damage. Does that sound logical to you? That it's Budweiser's fault. It's Miller's fault. It's all the beer brewing companies' fault that these drunk drivers are out there. So let's sue or get rid of all the breweries. Let's get rid of all the cars because they're drunk driving. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And here's the fine point of it, and I'll leave you with this. My understanding, some statistics that I've seen, and they pretty much carry on year to year, young black men in the inner cities are dying by the tens of thousands. And yet, even black mayors, city council members, I used to be a city councilman upstate New York, I know, and governors, congressional representatives, senators, and everybody in between that are African American, when it comes to black on black crime and young black men being killed by the tens of thousands, their answer is this. And if they say nothing, to make it even worse, they blame racism. They blame racism for black young men killing black young men. Think about that, you progressives and leftists, and especially you minority Democrats, progressives, and leftists. The Democrats now have been taken over by the progressives. They are not your friend. They never really were. They're the same people that are pushing now for segregation in colleges and in schools. It's insane. It's the modern version of Jim Crow. The man's right. You just have to see it. I know it's hard. I was a Democrat my whole life. I was even an elected official as a Democrat. I'm telling you, it's really, really hard to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I've been wrong this whole time. It's tough to admit you were wrong. It's tough to admit that you bought the BS and you believed it. Hook, line, and sinker. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to admit you were snookered. But you have to do it. It's time to put your big boy pants on and say, hey, you know what? This is BS. Look what they say and do. You are who you defend. And you are also who you fight against. And if they're fighting against the Second Amendment to give these minority women and other people in the country the right to protect themselves, think about that long and hard. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.